Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of The Rotation. You know, it's been less about rotating lately and more of a game of Pong between Kingdom and I here. But hey, we're still rotating around. Maybe we'll rotate more towards the chat this episode. But I really appreciate you guys tuning in. I am Ashley, aka MiDNiTE, here as always with Kingdom, ready to talk Call of Duty. Sounds like a good time to me.
It
Shannon, I'm gonna need you to mute your. Freaking get into it, baby. Kingdom. Major has come and gone. Rokkr 5-0. 5-0 in qualification. 1 and 2
5-0.
on LAN. 1 and 2 on LAN. That one was tough. That one was a tough pill to swallow, dude. I'm not gonna.
Yeah. So
Wow. What, like, I.
we are
Boom,
back.
boom. We're back. Are we still? We're back.
All right,
Like
we're
we never left. That's a.
5-0 in the qualifiers. 1-2 on LAN.
And honestly, like, it was. I hate to start off on this note, but it was literally shocking to me how, Rokkr ended up playing the S&Ds versus LA Thieves. I thought for sure
Uh,
that's where we'd have the advantage, and we just didn't, man. So I mean, we can, and then obviously with stage 3 or major 3, we had the Surge, Seattle Surge, coming out on top, absolutely. Yeah, I'm gonna say it, annihilating FaZe in the finals. Like, that was one of the craziest things that I've seen in a while. It seems to be a
for
team
sure.
this year. You've got Optic winning, you've got Lag winning, you've got Surge winning. Surely Rokkr is up next, right?
NYSL
Of
winning the
unexpected.
Pro-Am.
And what? Yeah, that's not a chip, Kingdom. We can all tell that by now. We
All
all know.
right.
We all know. No, we've definitely debated that topic on the podcast before. Um, if the prom is a chip, I don't think it's a chip, dude. I really don't. I hate to say it, but I don't think it. You're
It's unfortunate that there was no points for that. Like
Yeah, that's
the
true.
fact that it was LAN in general, and it was every team in a competitive environment. And remember what we talked about is with challengers teams. So it was the first like throwback tournament that was similar to what we had in the past, where there was an open bracket and teams could make it in. Even though all of them didn't make the bracket, uh, you know, I feel like if they would have given them points for that, if there would have been points for the pro-am, New York would be higher in standings. I mean, that wouldn't be good for Minnesota Rokkr, of course, or any of the other teams that would be below them. But we'd have an even spicier race, and I still feel like Minnesota is one of the top teams in the game. They started this tournament up against the Seattle Surge, and the way they lost the opening hard point, like I felt for them as I watched, and they became NYSL again this weekend.
Yeah, they
Unfortunately,
did, dude.
the
So you
W is
wait,
gone.
I gotta rewind. You think Rocker's still one of the best teams in the game? They just had an unlucky shake on LAN? Is that the official
Well, no, I
the
said New
Kingdom
York, but I
angle?
still think
Oh, New
with
York. I thought you
yeah,
said
yeah, yeah.
Rocker.
No, no, no. I think New York because they were going into this tournament. People said they were top four because Seattle was doing good, but people didn't have Seattle above New York. It was at the beginning of this tournament, it was FaZe Optic or Optic FaZe, however you want to do it. And people thought that NYSL was right up there with them in terms of they lost to FaZe, right? In a kind of a close fashion in the qualifiers, but they looked really good and they've been playing really well. There's a lot of teams that secretly have been playing well, like LAT, that technically at the last two events have placed second and fourth, you know,
Yeah, they showed up.
and yeah, they did. And GG's to them. I don't know if they stick. I mean, I'm sure we're going to talk about that, but this weekend was all over the place, and I couldn't keep up. My predictions, I'm sure, were garbage. I could not keep up with who was going to win anything. It was very unpredictable and difficult to qualify.
Yeah, I didn't do too well on the predictions. Although I did, for the record, I did predict Surge to beat FaZe in the finals. I was like, I just got a feeling, man. Like
Yeah, you did.
FaZe is having issues on land, man. I
You
don't know what
did.
it is, but they are a really good team. I almost got the map count right too. If FaZe would have won one more map, I think I would have got it right. So
You
anyway,
were close.
yeah. I mean, yeah, Major 3, it was full of upsets. Rokkr fans are upset. I am at least as a hardcore Rokkr fan. If you look at the bracket and how this played out, Rokkr played up against LA Thieves and lost 2-3. And I think as I already mentioned, the most shocking part of that was just the two tough
They were
L's that
smoked
Rokkr
in
took in
search. Yeah.
Search. Search, I think we won 3 rounds. It was super tough. Thieves came to play though, like all respect to them, but then you see Thieves, they go up and they get, 3-0'd by FaZe. They do end up beating Optic, which I thought was pretty prolific, but then they end up losing to Ultra, and Ultra is still top 3 at their own event, so that's pretty good for them, except for not us because of the standings, right? Like the worst part about this major
Yeah, I know. It's like you
was
went above eighth and then got
yeah,
kicked back below eighth. Like,
I think Rokkr was technically top 6 before this LAN, and now we are back in ninth, which
yeah.
technically, like, if champs started tomorrow, we would not be playing. With that said, though, I'm still really optimistic. There is still one more stage. There's still time to get this right. But I do wonder, even if Rokkr does make champs, they're going to have a tough seed, possibly, unless they go absolutely buck wild insano in stage 4. The issue that I have is that Rokkr looks so good, so good. So the team has it. They're a great
Yeah.
team. That they can hang with the best. It's just I don't know. Any given Call of Duty LAN weekend instead of any given Sunday. But yeah, any team can kind of just show up. So here's to hoping. I mean, hey, last year around this time, oh, Rage Machine in the chat says, not upset at the boys. We'll always root and hype up. Speaking of Major with the win, it was nice to see him bounce back.
GG's to Major Maniac.
Yeah, I mean, you go and you see Major Maniac, who's on the sub for RØKKR, on the bench for RØKKR, goes down into Challengers and wins the Challengers LAN. So it's kind of almost leads to a little bit more confusion where you're like, wait a
With
minute,
Neptune.
like, yeah, with Neptune. Neptune's a crazy player, dude. He's really good. Um, so yeah, it kind of makes you wonder. And we were talking about it just before we went live here. If we're able to, Shannon, can we pull up the producer Shannon, pull up the standings to kind of see where we netted out after Major 3 here. It's dang, oh man, this is the nicest standings photo I've ever seen. Go off, COD
They switched it up,
Gamepedia.
yeah.
Nah, this is
It's
COD
nice.
Gamepedia.
Oh,
This
you're
is
right. Oh, you're right.
dude,
Oh,
COD
it's
League could take
pretty.
notes. Look at how nice this looks. They got all the stats there. It's really nicely laid out. No, but yeah, you look at RØKKR all the way in ninth. We're only it's one win, right? One. Wow, I can't believe I'm having this
Do we
brain
know what the
fart.
asterisk is? I saw Brett ask on Twitter, like,
Oh
why is there an
yeah, what
asterisk next to
is that?
Minnesota? But
What
I
is
don't
that?
know if the COD League ever responded.
Well, this is COD Gamepedia, right?
But
Or is there an asterisk on the Call of Duty League
uh,
site? I don't see an asterisk on the Call of Duty League site.
okay,
What
so
does
he
that
must have
mean?
responded to this one. I don't know why in the world they would put that, like at
Why are
CODpedia,
we the only team with an asterisk? Yo, let's start a conspiracy theory right now on the podcast. Why do you think they have that?
because they know that they're gonna win the next major.
Yeah, they're like, hold on, we've already wrote the script. Watch out for this team is what the asterisk means, maybe. Damn, Paris Legion is 2-17. It's hard to believe that Subliners and Paris Legion are 50 points away from each other. It's 5 wins. That's not very much.
It says
Yeah.
RØKKR has the tiebreaker over
Oh, over like
someone.
LA Thieves, maybe?
Who are
Maybe
they
not
tied with?
though.
Oh no, they're tied with Florida, so they have the tiebreaker over Florida with points.
Oh,
That's what
wow.
it is.
That
I
is,
was looking at Brett's response, and someone actually
oh.
responded to his tweet.
I was gonna go down a really crazy conspiracy theory rabbit hole, and you actually just saved that. So I can't tell if I'm
Looking out for
happy
the
or
viewers, you know.
upset. Yeah, looking out for the viewers, honestly, and the listeners. If you guys are not watching on YouTube, you're listening on a podcast platform, I just want to say thank you. Shout out to you. Thanks for doing that. Make sure to subscribe to the podcast, everything. And if you're on YouTube, hit the like button, man. Let's get this thing going here. Let's get people suggested this video and have a party.
I
But yeah,
like it.
you're looking at these standings, and it's not all doom and gloom, right? We were in a similar kind of situation last year RØKKR ends up showing up to stage 5, does well, wins the thing in dramatic fashion in the finals versus Toronto, and we ended up, I think we were top 4 at COD Champs. So it's not too late to turn this thing around, but my biggest question for you, shout out Icon, we miss you. But my biggest question for you, Kingdom, is, given the fact that these standings, if you just look from like top 4, maybe even top 5, if you want to not include the Ravens there, like this is anybody's game to make top 8 when you're looking from 4th, 5th through 10th. So my question is, for some of these teams that struggled or regressed a little bit, like your Boston Breaches, your LAGs, potentially the Minnesota Rokkr, do you see any teams making a change during stage 4 or before stage 4, or is that too risky at this point? Like maybe because
So
you've seen flashes of brilliance with some of these teams, but like, is it
yeah,
enough to be like, yeah, let's commit?
I don't know. This is such a weird question. Call of Duty is so different than any other sport. Esports in general is so different because technically, like in the NBA, you have a trade deadline and then you're done and you keep who you have and you
Yeah,
try your best. If you get to the playoffs and you realize we can't win, it's like, all right, let's go as deep as we can, right? In Call of Duty, it's like we want a winning team, so we'll do whatever it takes to get a winning team. If that's facts, um, I would say London Royal Ravens, Boston Breach, Los Angeles Gorillas, Florida Mutineers, New York, but they really are chalked. But New York, I guess maybe they deal some of their players that they know don't have extensions next year. I mean, I don't know. And then LAT's up in the air, right? Because they placed top 2 at the Pro Am, top 4, beating Optic, at this most recent event, even though it was Optic with a sub, whatever. Pro Loot wasn't doing bad.
was it the real
Um,
Optic, Kingdom?
yeah,
Come on.
it was Optic. They did great in the qualifiers. So like I think the reality here is that if I'm LAT, I don't know, and if I'm Minnesota, I don't know. Like those 2
Yeah,
teams, everybody is saying like the same thing about the Florida Mutineers. They have 3 ARs. Dave Patty's got to get off the roster. He's not a bad person, and he actually has a good understanding of the game, but he just moves kind of too slow and really, messes with the whole flow of their team. With the Minnesota Rokkr, I know we haven't talked really about the state of Minnesota yet, but it's like if you look at their total map record, and I know I've mentioned this before, Minnesota has to go deeper in the lands. Like that
yeah,
is like everybody plays the same amount of qualifying matches, but Minnesota only has 78 total matches, and so it's like and there's teams with 90 and over 100, and so and
that
that's
is
because they've
nuts.
just gone deeper in the tournaments. Minnesota normally gets out first or second round, and I think that's where, fourth major and champs is where it happened last year for Minnesota, right? I think it has to happen again, and it's hard because their team looks good. Like I think the Minnesota Rokkr actually look like a really good team. Um, they came up against some tough opponents, right? Like Ultra they looked as good as they've looked all year.
Yeah, Ultra
The
was
Toronto
nasty.
yeah, and they looked Toronto looked as good as they looked at the beginning of the year. LAT placed top 4 in this event and beat Optic, and so Minnesota had tough competition. And you've said this before, like the schedule does matter, who you play does matter. The reality, though, and you've told me this is like, and you've said it on the show, in a 12-team league, if you can't place top 8, you got to make some changes. Like you should be
Yeah,
able to place top 8, and so the good bright spots are they're still playing together as a team and they got some gritty wins. Like against Boston, like the game 1 hard point 1 point win. I mean, that was like a gritty, like gotta have your high communication type win. Attach was the only person to go positive in the Toronto series with a 1.18. So that's gonna make a difference, right? If you're getting outslayed that bad, it's hard to win unless you're the New York subliners. They seem to be able to figure out ways to win when they're but look at them, like they've played 79 matches, it looks like. So they've played one more than Minnesota, or am I doing wrong math? Yeah, one more than Minnesota. And so again, not going very deep in the tournaments except for the Pro Am, which didn't count for anything. And so it's like I feel bad for the New York Subliners. I wish there would have been something for that Pro Am. We've had 5 different winners, 5 different events. It is all up in the air. And I'm making a change if I'm every team from 4 to if I'm 4, 6, and 7, honestly, those are the 3 teams that really need to change so they can stay at champs, is London, Boston, and LAG. And maybe we'll see a wild Clayster find his way onto LAG.
Yeah, I'm wondering, like, is it I think I don't know. Part of me is like, yes, roster mania is about to be crazy because it's about to be stage 4 and then champs and the points or the contention for the points between 4th and 8th is so tight. But because it's so tight, it scares me a little bit because it's we've already like Rokkr's already made a change, and we took a long time to make that change. We were trialing a bunch of
Yeah.
players. We landed on Havoc. They go to the pro-am and they look shaky, whatever, but then they go 5-0 in qualification. We've never even done that before as a franchise. So, part of me is like, no, don't make a change. Like, let's dig our heels in here and let's get coached up. Let's do this thing. And let's go forward. But then another part of me is like, well, if you couldn't do it on land, it's probably something that's not going to improve a whole lot. But then, dude, you guys are in my inner monologue because I'll be trying to fall asleep at night, and this is what I'm thinking. But then I'm like, well, if we couldn't do it on this land, it doesn't mean we couldn't do it on the next. And there's still time to really like hop into like we're one match from being in top 8 or at least tied for 8th, right? One match
Oh,
win
easy.
and
Yeah.
Thieves goes down. So that's where it's tough to say, yeah, make a change. It's kind of a risky time to make a change. When you made a change was when we did, right? At
Yeah.
mid-season. It's a little bit of a riskier time for teams to make changes right now, but sometimes the risk pays off. So I'm really excited to see which teams ultimately end up doing that. My personal opinion, do I think RØKKR should make a team change? I think we're too far in now. I think we got to
Yep.
just
I
take our
agree.
guys that we have right now and get them coached up and just go absolutely massive, grind this stuff and go to it.
So,
One yeah, go ahead.
well, Mom of Attach Kim Price said it in the chat, which is
What's up,
something that I
Mama
mentioned
Tatch?
a couple weeks ago. Shout out Mom Attach, is that the RØKKR have a positive map record,
Mhm.
which is there's only 5 teams there's only 5 teams in the league that have a positive map record. And one of the things I've mentioned is they just need to play more matches because
Yeah.
they obviously can win maps. They just got to get through those first couple of rounds in a LAN.
Yeah.
Like the RØKKR would benefit from 2 wins in a row starting in winners. Like that
Oh
would
my
be
god, bro. It
it,
would be
and it would
elite.
catapult them to 5th or 4th, place top 4 or above in a LAN environment. And it just has to happen. We're kind of at that point of no return. And I don't want to. This major is it, right? Like this last, qualifier and major
That's it.
is
It's
that's
5 we
it.
got 5 matches in a major, and we just had 5 matches in a major, and we're still not in the top 8. So we gotta like this is the 5 matches in a major. We gotta do it, you know?
Yep. Got to get another 3 or 4 wins in qualifiers for sure.
Oh, for sure. We need to get the easy points, which we can do. We've done it to your point. We don't go
Yep.
far on land though, and that's why I think we have the positive map record that we do, but when you're only playing 20
Yeah.
matches, that's tough. That's tough.
Right.
Gotta give
Good point.
yourselves more opportunity. I think the guys can do it though. I do like I sound kind of like doom and gloom right now just because it's crunch time and I want the guys to win so bad. The reason it's so I don't want to say upsetting, but I know they've proven that they can contend. It's just they need to
Yeah.
go all the way through with it. Um yeah,
Agreed.
it was really interesting to see. I don't know if land pressure is a thing. One thing that I've always found interesting, I'd love to ask them about it, whether it's on this podcast or offline. But I want to ask the coaches, they tend to say a lot of the same things, like we didn't execute, the players didn't,
Yeah.
like they
That's a good point.
started playing not how we rehearsed or practiced. And I wonder why that's a common theme. And I wonder if there are other coaches and teams that have that same issue and how to kind of correct that. I would be really curious to know because I
So
mean, it's all about execution at the end of the day.
I think the one factor that you look at Optic and they're very rarely thought of as like an onliner team. There was a couple of years during the dynasty where they said that, but these guys were winning everything. I mean, what like of course you're going to call them something because you just had to hate on them. But like, you look at Optic Texas, they're in front of the camera all the time. They've got giant fan bases. They're streaming. They get used to the crowd. They get used to the love and I mean, every time I look at their map record, I'm like, that is utterly ridiculous. Like 62 and 28. Like
That is, dude, I
they've
just saw it earlier and I was like, what the hell's going on?
smoke show over there.
Are
Like
they okay?
I would hate playing those guys.
Please check their task manager. No, I'm just playing. I'm just
But they
playing.
better watch out. Seattle Surge places top 4. They're bumping them out of second, like easy.
Yeah, true.
Seattle Surge could still get first in the league. Like, let's not sleep on this team if they play consistently at this next one. This is going to be a barn burner of an event. And so I think that there are factors. I think that land does play a difference, and teams where the players don't have as much experience doing their own content and being in front of an audience, maybe that impacts them.
Yeah.
Like and maybe that has an impact. I honestly I don't know. I would think that if I'm like Boston, I don't know what's going on with that team, and I don't know how they're
What
just not
happened?
winning anywhere.
They fell
They
off a
just fell
cliff,
off.
dude.
Yeah, they people are rating them in power rankings 11th on top of Paris, and
Really? Damn.
yeah. Oh, sorry, 10th. It's Paris, and then I think Florida, and then Boston. And so like, and they're 6th in the league, and people are rating
Yeah.
them 10th.
They
And
started
but
really hot.
Methods responded and was like, it's accurate. Like they're down bad. And I don't know if they just pull a switch just to change the mood, just to change the
Yeah, they
attitude on
need
the
they
team.
need some sort of mix up. Yeah, I
Something.
would
And
say for sure they need a mix. I would say LAG, Boston,
Ravens, right?
maybe
Or do you think they just stick
Mutineers.
it out since they're in the top?
Um, it's hard to say, man.
They've played
The
so
biggest
bad.
question, chat, do you stick it out or do you keep your players? And I'm not even just asking for RØKKR, I just mean in general, these teams that either were struggling and now have showed some promise like RØKKR have, or the teams like LAG, Breach, who were towards the top and now they're floating downwards, I think. How do you float downwards? What? Am I okay? No, I'm
A
just kidding. But they're
parachuting, right?
drifting down. Yeah, they're parachuting down. They're dropping into Caldera
There
slowly.
you go.
And we don't love that for them. Revived Gamer in the chat said we were one P1 hardpoint hill away from beating Thieves. Indeed. Once we lost that Berlin hardpoint, I knew it was tilting. I thought
Yeah.
for sure we could still win the S&D. I was like, maybe that second map was like Thieves pick and we're gonna destroy on map 5 S&D, and then we just did not. And it was so frustrating to watch the solo pushes and just I'm not a professional player. I'm not a coach. I
Yeah.
don't know what the hell I'm talking about, but
I
oh
think
my
Kenny's
god.
good on LAN. I think he's the opposite of an onliner. I think he doesn't like the online environment.
Who's that
And
again? What name did you say?
Kenny, I said
Kenny?
Kenny.
Yeah.
I think Kenny likes LAN. I think Octane likes LAN. I
Yeah.
think Envoy doesn't care. He could play on both. And I don't know about Draza, but I really think Kenny and Octane, which we've seen that in their past, they'll be garbage all year and then go to an event and place top 6, and they actually statistically, which is crazy, and I didn't know this till today, they have the 3rd highest average placing in the league for the majors. The LA Thieves do.
Sheesh.
So
And they're
it's like
still in 8th.
behind FaZe and
Are
Optic.
they so they
Yeah.
have the opposite problem of us.
Yes, they do.
Yo,
They suck
we just
online. They
meet in
play
the
good on
middle.
LAN. Yeah.
We just meet in the middle there. We'd be all right. All right. I know. Shout out to producer Shannon and producer Will. They put together these topics for us, and then we turned on the stream and just started rambling. So let's get back into the program here. We recapped last week, State of RØKKR. I think we kind of
We
inadvertently
did.
did
Yeah.
this. We did it. We did beat Boston 3-0. That was nice, but I don't think that's something you can hang your
It
hat
wasn't
on.
enough. It was losers bracket. Yeah.
I want it to be known that producer Will put in the run a show here. Toronto dominates RØKKR. He didn't have to do all that. He didn't have to say all that now. No, they did though, and Toronto looked good. And props to him, right? I talk a lot of smack and about Toronto because of the rivalry, but they put on a great event. It looked like. I mean, I wasn't there, but like I heard it was cool. It looked really cool on broadcast. And then yeah, when your team's thriving and the crowd's cheering, that's awesome. So
Yeah,
shout out to
for
them for
sure.
that. They are still south of us though.
Right.
So Seattle Major Champs. I don't know what it was. I think I'd have to go back and look at, you know, the predictions that we did last week, but I feel like I predicted them to win their first match. Maybe I didn't. I'm probably lying. But I definitely did predict them to win once they were in grand finals. And a lot of it is obviously the talent that they have on that team. Uh, being led by accuracy. Accuracy, I feel like he's just a Lanimal. In every recent COD that I can think of, he's showed up in one way or another huge on LAN. And this was another opportunity for him to do that, and he did. So I thought it was really cool to watch. I'm glad that they won. I'm not glad, standings wise that they won, but it was a really kind of
Right.
cool story to see. So what was your take on Seattle winning? Did you think they had a shot at all, or what were your
Um,
thoughts?
I love all the Ake slander that took place afterwards because he's called this team garbage all year long. He said that it was all a fluke, that when they came out earlier in the year that they're not going to play well for the entire year. They're not going to win an event. They're not,
Why does he
and
hate accuracy? Why is he saying all that? No, I'm just
Probably
kidding.
because I was gonna say
He's
he's jealous,
apes.
but I love Pat. But accuracy did what Pat did in World War II, right? Like
Mhm.
he got a group of dudes around him and kind of led him to the promised land. And I think accuracy believes that his team can win champs, and I think they're capable, right? They're a team that doesn't need to make a change, and they proved it this weekend. When Pred is playing like he played, and he said after the event to his coach, he said everything he tried to do in S&D just worked. I think he dropped a 1.68 or something
Yeah,
on
he was
FaZe in the grand
nuts.
finals. Like he said everything, and he just has his trigger button is go. It's like Shotzi, but with less like wisdom. Like Shotzi will be patient. He'll run real fast, get in a position and wait.
Yeah,
Pred will just push it. He's just like, no,
just
I'm just pushing.
goes. He's
And when he
cracked.
fries you, it's like playing against the Warriors in the NBA and they start making threes on your face. You just don't know what you're just like, I give up. Like
Yeah,
they
you
made
start to
three
throw your
threes in a
hands up a
row.
little
Now
bit.
they're
You're
up
like,
15. And that's what when Pred is in your spawn, literally frying you and running into your face. Like, what do you do? And so teams like FaZe, they try to match it. But I would say for the first time since that FaZe roster was really formed, and I mean mostly, the Tiny Terrors, there's a duo that's competing with them. And honestly, this event, I think Sib did great. But Pred and Mac, man, they just were frying both of them. And I think it felt like Lamar was just the coach. And this
yeah.
team never gives up. They never let go. It's you can beat them and flip them off like Alec did, and they'll still reverse sweep you.
Wait,
They
he flipped
reverse
him off?
swept.
Did I miss that?
Yeah, he did.
My
After
dude, was I watching on mute? I might have
they
been.
clutched
Oh, my
up the
lights
S and
turned off.
D. They clutched up the S&D and won in round 11. And Mac is very underrated. I agree, Luke from the chat. And yeah, Sib and Pred are the tiny terrors of FaZe because they are both tiny. But it's like, um, so Alec flipped off accuracy. Lamar didn't even look at him. He just stayed. You're fine though, like camera wise. But
Yeah,
he
dude, my lights turned off. They're motion lights. I just pushed a respawn chair to try to turn them on, and they didn't turn on. So, and I'm
just
alone in
throw
the
something.
office.
Just like
Wait, what if
what?
Jason's here? Do you hear that?
Say
I'm
there
so
is someone
sorry.
behind you. Is that
For those that are listening, my lights in the background turned off, and I'm in the RØKKR facility here. So, if the internet goes out, call
solo
somebody.
show? I got it.
Yeah.
So it's like I think that like that moment, and these are moments that people don't pay attention to. Like they beat them in round 11, right? And Alec, I think, aced round 11. He got an ace and shut it down. Like it's over. They're up 2-0. He flips off Lamar and the team and walks off. Like they all walk in the back. And their coach was like, I don't know if he was flipping off the crowd. It's like, no, he's flipping off the surge. And Lamar didn't
That's
even look at him. He
wild,
just sat
bro.
there and he looked straight. And you can see he was mad and he was rubbing his hand warmer in his hand. Like he was just getting ready for revenge. And then they won 3 maps in a row and then beat him in the grand finals. And I think like this team, like most teams, you go up, you go down 2-0 on FaZe. How many teams have reverse swept FaZe? Very few over the last 3
Yeah,
years. And
super,
so
very few.
this team has a lot of potential, man. Pred's stats, I think I had
Nuts.
him.
Crazy.
Number one SMG in hardpoint
Sheesh.
KD, number one in hardpoint kills, number six
Sheesh.
SMG in S&D 1.1.
Sheesh.
By the way, shout out to Scumpy with the 1.8 or whatever he
Dude,
dropped in
Scum still
search.
got
Like
it. That's my
it was
goat. Fight me.
ridiculous.
Fight me in the
Yeah,
comments.
yeah. I mean, well, unfortunately, Crim's not doing a lot for his legacy this year, but
No.
I think so some stats that were interesting is like Seattle had 9. They won 9 of 11 rotations on the final hardpoint on the Tuscan against FaZe, and that's a problem, right? Like
Yeah.
they FaZe continues to try to depend on their skill. We'll just break. We'll just break. We'll just break. We saw an Optic Dynasty try to do that year after year after year, and they kept losing champs and losing champs and losing champs. Like, eventually, you have to play the game right, and just because you're FaZe doesn't mean you can't get outgunned. They've been in every grand finals in all the majors, and they've lost all the majors. The only grand final they weren't in was the Pro Am, and so it's like I really think that Seattle just really came out, and now the FaZe camp is saying they're positive now and everything's exciting, and we learned a lot. I'm like, look, I don't care what you guys say, being the number one team in the world, nobody's talking dynasty anymore because you've gotten second place at every event.
Yeah.
Like the whole
That's
dynasty
true.
chatter went out the window
That petered
because
out.
they're not winning. Like, yeah, you're the best team, and it's a big debate I saw on the reverse sweep, but it's like the dynasty talk is gone, and so I think this Seattle team is here to stay, man. I really am. I'm happy for Lamar, and I like that Pred grabbed the mic and was like, "Put some respect on this man's name." Like
Yeah.
I really am happy for Lamar, and I think the work that they've done there and that they've put in with this team was the last team formed in the league that he kind of put together of the top teams. Like I'm really happy for them, and I think the rest of the league needs to look out because they're where they belong, top three. Everybody else has been very inconsistent. This team is like they're not like Florida where it's like they're either good or they're bad. They're like we're good or we're so. And when we drop really low and perform poorly and go get last, like they did, I think in Major 2 or Major 1, I don't remember. They turn up and they learn from their mistakes, and so GG's to the Seattle team.
Yeah, no, it's been really cool to watch them all year, and then yeah, I have the utmost respect for accuracy and how he approaches it. I mean, he doesn't have like the best numbers in the world, and people kind of clown
No.
on him for that, but I don't think they're even that bad. And if you can't. There's such a big leadership factor that
Yep.
comes along with accuracy, and I think when you have younger players like Pred and Sib, and then Mac. I mean, Mac. This is the second chip that Mac and Lamar have won together. Yeah. Like they won year 1 on
Oh, I didn't
NYSL.
even think about that.
So like
Wow.
they've been doing the thing, right? Like
Was
they
Mac a rookie
know
that year?
I think he was, yeah. Yeah, that was the year
That
he
would mean
came
Lamar's
on.
brought multiple rookies to championships.
He
These
has.
these two guys are
He's a
rookies.
great leader to build around. And so, knowing that about him, I just thought on land like they'd be in their bag. But you're never sure because sometimes I say that about Surge and then they just
They
like
yeah,
they look
chalk it.
a
Yeah.
little strange. So Revive Gamer again in the chat. Yo, shout out to everyone in the chat. Says every team has won so far has one of the older players in the league on it. Makes you think.
You gotta think.
I'm the oldest one here. They should probably put me on the team. I'll just be the fifth
Well, that
person.
means
I'll just
Attach
sit
is waiting for
behind them.
his, right?
Yo, true, true.
Slasher's got his, Scumpy's
Asher's
got
got
his,
it.
Lamar's got
Scumpy's got.
his,
Let's go, Attach. Let's
Crim's
go,
got his.
bud.
It's Attach's turn. Let's go.
It's Attach's turn. Stage 4, bro. I feel it.
There's no old heads on FaZe. That's why they're not winning.
True. I guess maybe you count the coach as an old
Coach
head. I don't know
Crowder,
if it
yeah.
Coach Crowder counts, but yeah, no, I mean it's really wild to see, the effect that you're seeing, a veteran or two on a team and then just find these cracked kids, put them on there, see how they do. Doesn't always work, right? There's teams in the league with similar composition that aren't winning, but it is definitely something to look out for. So,
For sure.
looking ahead, let's look ahead. We need to bring up the total points and show how close the race for champs is. We did this a little bit earlier, but let's like get real theoretical here and give us some outlook here.
So can
So
I
if
say
you're
one funny thing
yeah, go ahead.
from the event that we didn't mention?
Ooh.
So there was those two teams that were trying to avoid Optic, remember?
Oh yeah.
LA Thieves and Florida, and those were the two teams that beat Optic.
That is kind of weird, right?
They were both trying not to
Dang.
play Optic, and then they're the teams that got Optic out of the tournament. I was like, "Oh, that's hilarious!" Like I didn't I heard that today and wanted to share it with the
Yeah, that
with
is
our
pretty funny. I
viewers
didn't even think about it like
and
that.
listeners.
That's crazy, bro. Why were they so scared? They should
I
have
don't
been
know. They
scared of
didn't need to be.
Surge.
Yep.
Should have been scared of Man, I'm
Should have been
still
scared of
tilted about that
Minnesota.
hard point on Berlin, Rokkr versus LA.
Yeah.
That was so
They'll have
close.
their chance again.
But yeah, so I mean, we talked already about like the
Yep.
teams and team changes and standings, but what I want to do is kind of forecast a little bit for RØKKR. So, RØKKR next plays on June 25th. That seems so far away. What?
There's 3 weeks. There's a long break, remember? This was
No,
supposed
they're
to be a month break, and they shortened it to 3 weeks, I think.
bro,
That's
what?
why everybody's saying there's gonna be a roster mania because of this long
Oh,
gap.
no, dude. I thought we played like I thought it was still on the schedule of because in from stage 1 to 2 there was like no time and then everyone complained. Now bro, there's definitely gonna
Oh.
I changed my take earlier. There's definitely gonna be team changes. It's gonna be crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I changed my take. There will be team changes. Not for RØKKR necessarily, but just in general, there
Yeah,
will
with
be a
3
roster
weeks,
mania.
yeah.
Knowing that there's that gap and people get to kind of trial one another, there is gonna be some craziness that happens here soon. But so forecasting the next stage, June 25th, Saturday, 5 p.m. Minnesota RØKKR plays Optic, Texas. Kind of a tough
Oh.
way to start, not gonna lie. But if you have a break, you hit the regain button a little bit, you chug the purple Kool-Aid, you get back out there, you dust yourself off. That could be a good first match to come back into because it's gonna be intense, right? Like Optic's already sewn up for champs pretty much. So not saying they wouldn't try, but like this is a good
Gosh.
test for RØKKR to come back
See if Illy's
into
back, yeah.
stage 4. Yeah, assuming Illy's back. And then if you the next day, RØKKR plays Florida, which is in my opinion that's a must win. Must win that. Like keep
Ooh,
them from getting points. Make sure
that's
you
an easy
stay ahead
W.
of them. Go go go.
Ooh,
Then
Rocker's
after
got a
that,
couple of easy W's. Sorry, I'm getting
yeah,
excited.
I know. If you're looking at the teams we play,
I
like it's
am.
not looking too bad for us. So after Florida, RØKKR plays London on the next weekend, July 1st. That is actually Version 1 and Minnesota RØKKR's birthday, July 1st,
Ah,
2019.
that's
We
awesome.
announced the CDL slot and that, this Minnesota esports team would be a thing, so that's pretty cool. Fun fact, fun history. Yo, write that one down, chat, if we ever do trivia. And then, oh, we only play once that weekend. Okay. And then we go to the next weekend, final weekend of stage 5. No, stage 4 qualifiers. Sorry, I'm looking at something that says week 3. We play Seattle, the current reigning champs. Maybe they'll fall off a cliff like LAG did. Who knows? I don't think so, but who knows? But yeah, we play Seattle. Tough test again. I think it's good to play these tough teams in qualifiers, though.
For
You gotta,
sure.
especially if you look at some of the other teams you have to play, because the next match is against Paris, and I don't know what they're playing for at this point. No offense. I'm not saying they wouldn't try, but like, what do you do? You know?
Temp might not be there, man. If I'm
No.
some of these teams, like he's a good spot. He could go to lag, like I
Yeah, he
think him
could.
and Clayster, I think there's certain teams that might go after them, but it really depends on who changes and what they change. It's gonna be
I
interesting.
don't think a team with Temp and Clay would work on it. Do you?
Oh no, can't be both of them. No way. No.
No shot, bro. That
Uh-uh.
team would melt.
Nah. Clay doesn't work with I don't think I think to me he might be like Krim where he unless it's a 5-man team, he's gonna have a hard time working with another veteran. Slasher is the
Yeah.
same. Scump actually is probably the same. Him and Formal had a falling out, right? Before they
Yeah.
fell back in love and did some fun
Really, just
stuff and then
really
Formal
strong
left.
personalities. I think is
Yeah.
is where you can start to get in. It's can be a good thing sometimes, like you said. If it's a 5-person team, you can kind of you know, mellow it out a little bit. But yeah,
Yep.
when you have two really strong leaders and personalities, I think that's tough.
Yep.
But yeah, I mean, you're looking at this, and this is like a okay, like
Hmm.
hopefully worst case, knock on wood. This is like a 3-2 qualification thing, and maybe we bop into the winners rounds for stage 4 on LAN. It's the NYSL tournament. Let's go. That's pretty dope. I bet they'll throw a good event.
Oh
That'll be
my
cool.
gosh.
What?
Boston is gonna get smoked.
Yeah, Boston
I'm
plays
looking at these
Optic, LAT, Seattle, Lag, and
and then
Toronto.
Ultra.
Criminy, bro.
I'm looking
It's
at
so
other teams
interesting.
that the Rokkr can pass up, and so
You
like,
can you can tell that these matches because these matches are, I believe, made by CDL. Like last year there was like some sort of
oh
like pool draw, but I think these are made and it looks
yeah,
like they go off of seeding
there's a
instead of
whole
like
difficulty rating that I saw
yeah.
on a different show. Like it's got they have a whole like you can see that the difficulty of the schedule. FaZe actually has I think the most difficult or the second most difficult schedule.
Yeah. And it seems like they go off seeding, but I'd be really more interested to see them go off of like vibes or like power rankings, you know? Because like knowing that Boston is not very good right now. Like these
Yeah,
matches are not appealing
it's
to me.
no.
But I mean, hey, they could make a change and then a honeymoon period happens. You never know. That's why like with now, and I'm sorry for not knowing this before, guys. I kind of just assumed that we would have a break this week and then next week we'd start back into it. No, there is a 3 week break, and it actually makes me wonder, do we know if when roster lock is? I believe it was
I don't know
either
the date.
before or during stage 5 last year. Champs roster lock was around that
Oh, that's
time.
right. You're right. I forgot about
So
that.
I'm
That you
wondering if
the team
this,
you go into 4 with, I think,
yeah,
is the team you have to go champs
yeah,
for.
I would bet, I don't, well, I shouldn't say that. I don't know. But I would assume so far based off of what I saw last year and now understanding that there's a 3 week break, I would imagine that the roster lock is around stage 4. Um, so that's scary. I think you are going to see a ton of teams change. Dude, we might have to hopefully next week's podcast is lit. I bet these teams will kind of do things a little slower
Yeah,
though.
that's gonna be hard. That's why we definitely can't predict, because the teams are
Yeah,
gonna
there's
look
no
different.
predictions.
If I'm Boston and I see who I'm playing, I'm doing something. There's
Yeah. Oh,
like
for sure.
you'll end up bounced out of top 8,
Dude, what
like
about
playing
Clay
against
on
these
Boston? What do
teams.
you think about that? You think Clay and Zinni could run it? No? Too
I
strong
think Clay would have
personalities?
to take Zinni's position. Yeah, I just don't think it'll work.
Yeah, they both play too slow.
Yeah.
That's the
Clay's a
tough thing,
good
man.
main, but yeah, it
You
wouldn't
think that
work.
who you
I
think
think
Neptune
lag,
and Neptune's
but
gonna end up
I
on
don't
a
know who he
team,
plays
right?
for. I don't know. I honestly,
I
at
think
this
they will.
point,
I think it will.
there's a lot of good players out there. If you somebody like if you notice, there's not as many like crazy cracked SMGs that are left.
Yeah.
They're all in the league.
They're
You
all
know,
on good
Pred's in the
teams.
league, Standy's in the league. Like they're all in the league, and so like a lot of those guys have gotten picked up from last year. Paul X, Afro, like all these guys that were, oh my gosh, they're killing it in challengers. And so
Mhm.
I did hear somebody say recently they think there's going to be a talent shortage, and I'm like, and that's why they won't like expand next year. And I know we have no idea about that, but like, I do think that a lot of the top talent is finding its way into the COD League, to
Yeah.
where it's gonna switch out again, where some people are just gonna, some of those Paris guys are not gonna be playing next year, you know, and so and other teams, but I don't want to call out names. Um, but this is gonna be, this could be the last. I mean, what do you do? Like Krim is gonna play as long as humanly possible, right? He's gonna be like Ace. As
Yeah.
long as somebody will put him on a team, he's gonna
He wants
play.
more and more chips. He wants to I think he wants to solidify himself even farther than he already has, which is really impressive. He's already so solidified
Yeah,
as the
it's ridiculous. He
winningest
wants 40.
player.
Yeah, I don't think he's
You
gonna
think
get
he
there
could
though.
do, I mean, if I'm NYSL, I'm hanging on to him through next year. I believe based on when they signed him, they would have
If I can keep
the
Hydra, yeah,
right to +1 him. I would. But
yeah.
at the same time, you get a bag for him right now. I don't know. Just saying. It's possible. Because, like, Krim not playing at Champs, has that even ever
Oh my
happened since he's
gosh,
joined
I don't
Call
think
of
so.
Duty? No, that's never happened. Krim not at Champs has never happened in the history of ever. And I don't
It
want
would
it
be
to
weird.
start. I need Krim at
No,
Champs.
no Clay, no Krim. That would just be awkward.
Bro, man, I feel like a freaking
Scump's gonna
boomer,
Scump and
dude.
Attach and Slasher are gonna be like,
Yeah,
"Yo,
come
we
on,
miss you."
Attach. Come on, for the oldies, for the oldies. Come on now. Nah, Attach is, dude, Attach has been playing out of his mind, like, all
He's been
year.
playing, yeah, one of his best. Him and Seth both. Like, to be honest, they both. Everybody else is like, "I hate this game," blah blah blah. Seth and and Dylan both are like, "I love my
Like
team. I love this
crying.
opportunity, and I'm gonna fry."
Well,
Like,
I don't know. That might not be what they think, but
yeah,
I
I
mean,
know.
yeah, it's
Yeah,
respectable
yeah,
though.
yeah.
It's
Right. It's
respectable
what they
though.
say out loud.
That's what they say. Yeah, it's very diplomatic of them to say that. It's very. No, I'm just kidding. I mean, dude, yo, wait, Kingdom.
What?
Tomorrow they're doing a reveal of the next Call of Duty. Are you hyped?
Modern Warfare. Yeah, of course.
I like. So I always get hyped for Call of Duties, always since forever, since 2008. This year I'm extra hyped because it's Modern Warfare 2. 2. Like it's the second Modern Warfare 2, but it has nothing to do with the first Modern Warfare 2 because now we're in another sub-universe of the Modern Warfares. So pretty excited to
10 a.m.
see.
PT
Yeah,
worldwide reveal.
how is Cat? Wait, 10 a.m. tomorrow?
10 a.m. Pacific.
So you telling me Captain Price is still alive?
I
No, I'm
guess.
just playing. I'm just playing.
I like the commercials they've been doing with all of the, like, Tim the Tatman, Steve Aoki, Trey Young, like, they would put
Yeah.
real people in the ads, and, like, Call of Duty always goes above and beyond with these, like, I remember Nadeshot was in one a couple years ago, like, Courage has been in one, like, they
Yeah.
always go over the top with
Super
these,
cool.
like, how they announce and launch these games, and we're about to have the first Call of Duty since, what, COD 4 that's 2 years in a row competitive?
Yeah.
It's gonna be interesting.
I just hope it's a good game. I'm
It's gotta
gonna buy
be.
the game. I'm gonna buy
Yeah,
it.
it has to be. I have not played as much Vanguard as I probably should have, and
Same.
it like this
I
next
like
game
watching it
has
more than
got to be.
playing.
Oh, I love watching it. Like,
I
competitive COD
wanna
could be flying around in jets, and I'd probably watch it. It's just like
dude, dogfighting only in the plains? I'd still watch that, bro.
you're
I'd
right,
still watch
actually.
that. All right, so we're excited about the new Call of Duty. We're excited
Yep,
about stage 4. Rokkrs
correct.
needs to win.
Yes.
Um, let's yo, because we don't have any predictions this week, can we at least look at the predictions that we make? Can we get an
Oh, I'm gonna
updated
cry.
score? Shannon, pull the spreadsheet. Can
I
we
was
take a
winning
look at
for
this thing?
1 week only.
1 week. Bro, you had a hot week though. You really like came back into it. It's
I know, and then this major killed me, man. I couldn't predict anything right.
all a blur. It's all oh snap. Hey, this is for a spreadsheet, it's really pretty. Really nice.
It actually is. It's very
It's pretty
decorative.
nice. Yo. Okay, I'm trying to follow it. Oh, I got plus 10 for the
You
math
got
count.
plus
Plus 5,
20 in FaZe
bro.
versus Ultra. What is who? What? Oh, that's Icon. What the heck?
Dang, Icon. Yo,
Where?
Icon lives. He's in the spreadsheet. This
Oh, I got
is
like
where he's at.
no. I don't even know how I got 5 points.
So if
No
we're
points.
looking,
5
are we
points.
able to
7
see the
points.
total points
It's
of all
somewhere I
time?
think on there.
Who is it?
She might have to do the math. Oh,
Oh, snap. Oh,
wait. I'm still
I'm still
winning,
not
or
in
it's
the
not.
lead? Is
Wait.
this updated?
Is this updated?
Ah, what?
Let's
Shannon,
go.
I'm taking you on
185.
Judge Judy, bro. I got 220 in Major 3. Honestly,
I think you might be beating me. I don't
I
think it's
think I might be
updated.
too. I don't know
Yeah.
if that total is accurate
Still beating
because,
Icon
like,
though.
quick math. Yeah, yeah, Icon, he's. I hope he comes back soon. Wait, bro, what? Hold on.
What?
I got plus 40 for the finals? Yo, is that
Wait. How'd you get
right?
plus 40?
Cause I'm the freaking best, bro.
Wait, did we
That's
call
an
Surge
upset
an up?
right there.
Oh, that we called Surge an upset?
How is Surge winning versus FaZe in the finals not an upset?
FaZe hasn't even won a
Finals
finals
matches are
this year.
double, Shannon says. Oh my
Uh,
god, dude, I'm
oh
taking
my.
that to the
She's
bank.
making up
Put
rules.
put my yeah, she's making up the rules. Surge was an upset and it's double points in the finals. Oh, see? Oh, she's got the score criteria down
Oh,
there.
down on the
Dude,
bottom. Oh, okay.
bruh, I'm not gonna lie. All right, just put my
40
name on the belt. Just put
points.
my name on the belt already. I get 2 belts. By the time I get my first year belt, I'll have the second year belt too. Oh
You should just
dang.
get rings, mate. You can be like, we can try to get to like
Rings?
3 rings, like Karma and Clayster and Crim.
Bro, we should do rings instead of a belt. I feel like a belt is nice to display. Like imagine a belt on
Right.
your dresser behind you, be
Oh,
dope.
I'd love it. It's a
Be
big,
sick.
yeah, that'd be dope.
Can we have both, Shannon? Nah, let's focus on one item at a time. Let's round of applause for me and my correct opinions. No, I'm just kidding. All right, last thing of the day here. Fan questions. And we want to get questions from the YouTube chat this time. So guys, go ahead and put some questions and let us know what's on your mind. You can ask about rockers, CDL,
So
pancakes or waffles, whatever you're into. Go ahead.
I wasn't gonna mention this, but while we're waiting for a question, I'm sure you saw the little bit of drama that took place mid tournament with FaZe, with the girlfriend of Tupac talking about.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna say
Yeah,
her
I
name,
did.
but
That was
so.
wild, by the way. Wildly
But
inappropriate.
here's the funny thing: very inappropriate. But Abizi had like the lowest KD in the grand finals and struggled. Like it's one of those things where it's like she was very inappropriate, but probably accurate. It just sucks to hear that out
Dang.
loud. Like, but we
Dang.
know a lot of pro players have said they've struggled with just, getting on and wanting to just grind this game beyond the, 8 hours that they play already. It's like, do I want to keep playing and get on stream and grind? Like, there's been Call of Duties where
Yeah.
pro players do that. Modern Warfare 2, Modern Warfare 3, Black Ops 2. Man, those were the games. You'd see
Dude,
all the
Black
pros
Ops
would be in
2
league
was
play all day
amazing.
long, like
Oh
in
my
Black
god.
Ops 2. Oh man.
Dude, they would play like 14 hours a day.
Yes. Grinding
And I would
season.
watch.
Grinding.
I
Oh,
would just
heck
have,
yeah.
if I wasn't streaming, I had their streams on, dude. I
Oh,
was
man.
obsessed. I would get off streaming for like 8 hours on Black Ops 2, and then I just turn someone else's stream on. Like I was
Yep.
obsessed.
All the
What a
time.
great game.
I would watch every Scump video
Can
that
we get a
year.
Black Ops 2 too? That's coming,
That,
right?
why not? That is a great question. Why do we not have a Black Ops 2 2?
Why do we not have a Black Ops 2 2? Because they're doing the Modern Warfare first. But then in order to get to Black Ops 2 2, they're going to have to make a Black Ops 1 2. Ah, I
I
don't
mean,
want to
I'd be
wait
down for
for all
that, though,
that,
to
dude. I
be
want it
honest. I like Black
now.
Ops 1.
Black
That was a
Ops
good
1
game.
was ass.
Oh, no.
Ass.
Hurts.
You're telling me a game with 2 good maps and all of the
And the
competitive
same
players
gun.
using the
Yes.
same gun,
FAMAS.
the FAMAS, and the sniping was butt.
Oh, the sniping was
And
hard
I
in
was
that
I
game.
was a mainly a sniper at the time, so that's why
I was gonna say I have an actual
there's
montage for Black Ops 1. I
Dude,
love sniping too.
wait, we should watch that. We should
No,
we should just
it's
completely devolve the podcast and watch our old montages. I have some. Do you know what I was doing? I would do like trick throwing knives for the final kill cam in S and
like
D,
throw
and in
them.
Black. Yes, throwing a tomahawk actually, not a knife. But I
Oh,
had like a little camera that I would set by a bomb site, plant the bomb, or get one of my friends to plant the bomb, and I would go into private match and like go into theater and like look where my axe was going, and I would find the exact spot. I'd line my crosshairs up with a cloud,
oh
and I would
my
throw.
gosh,
We okay,
nerding
we might
out.
gotta go down memory lane on one of these podcasts, but nah. But yeah, they should make a Black Ops 1 2. Think about it. Black Ops 1, 2 was technically Cold War. Hey, that's true. They've
That's
already done
actually
it.
facts.
That's true.
That's
So
actually
maybe
facts.
Black Ops 2 2 will be called Warm War, and it'll be like the sequel. Or like it'll be like Room Temp War. Or like
You need to put this needs to go on Twitter. I want to
this is
see.
we should end this thing, all right? We should end the podcast. We gotta go. Final thoughts here. Final thoughts.
Lukewarm war.
Hit
That's
us up for fan
hilarious.
questions. We'll tweet out before the next episode on Twitter, and you can ask your fan questions
I have a
right
final thought.
there. Final thoughts. Oh my god, dude, there's a guy walking outside. He scared the
That's
fuck out of me.
scary.
And he's looking in the window. My god, bro. Sorry for cursing. Bro, there's a guy in the window looking at me. Yo, I might die. I'm looking again. Oh my god, he's staring in the window.
I can't see him. That's
I'm turning
creepy.
around one more time. He's still standing there. Okay,
Oh wait, I see him now. He's
I
walking,
feel
right?
safe.
Is he
Yeah.
walking?
Do you see
Okay.
him? Is he
Yeah. I could like see a piece of him
Oh,
walking.
he's gone. Oh no, he's still looking in our bro, hold on. Hold on. What you doing, sir?
Is he
Oh,
trying to
he's
get in
gone
the
now.
door? Oh, okay.
He's probably trying to go to the Vikings
Man, that's
museum.
scary.
I'm fine.
My
There's
final
cameras
thought
here. I feel safe.
is I do think that Optic Splashy had an impact on that series, and I think
Yeah.
him falling off the map and them then losing the next 5 rounds and
That
losing
was
the
tough to watch.
I you could see it on his face. He just when he fell in the water, it was just like we could have just won this map, and instead I fell in the water, put my teammate in a 1v1, and then we lost the rest of it. You know, like it was chalked from then, and it's unfortunate for Optic. I think they'll be better when Illy comes back.
Yeah, same. I mean, this isn't my final thought, but just to add on, Optic's a momentum-based team, but I think Dashy's the most momentum-based player on
Oh
that
yeah,
team. If he
that's a good
tilts,
point.
it's just he can't realign right away. But I don't. That's no shade to Dashy. I've just some I've noticed.
That's a good point.
Let's see. Final thought. RØKKR needs to win some freaking matches, and not only that, but we need a deep LAN run, not just to qualify for champs, because that's all
Top
well
3.
and good and much needed, obviously, number one priority, but just for the mental going into champs,
Yeah.
you need to do that, right? Not only to qualify, but just to like know that you belong there and feel that and fight through this adversity that we have right now. I think we need to do it. And I do believe that we can do it, whether it's with this roster or if we make changes. I have no idea what's going to happen. There's a 3-week break. I do still, even though I know there's a 3-week break coming up and it's likely that many teams will make changes, I do still stick by the fact I think this team should stick. They showed so much promise in the qualifiers. Let's get it right. Get it tight. Let's win champs, baby. I'm hype. Okay. Okay, I'm gonna go
Don't go
make
too
sure
far.
that
Yeah, wait for
that guy's
Creepy
not
Man to
standing out
leave.
there.
Yeah, I was gonna
Nah,
say.
nah, my car's real close. I'm good. I'm good.
Okay.
Amber Turd in the chat says Optic lost full after Dashy went swimming.
Amber
True
Turd.
facts. True facts. All right, sorry about this podcast a little bit off the rails this week, guys, but I hope you enjoyed it regardless. Always happy to talk COD with Kingdom. We'll be back next week, hopefully to talk about potential
Changes.
team changes that would be happening in the league or rumors. It's the pre-champs roster mania period, and I do bet that we will see some changes with certain teams throughout the league. So look forward to that. We'll see you guys next Tuesday at 7:30 p.m. Central on the RØKKR YouTube. Otherwise, if you listen after, maybe you're listening in the car, you're on your way to work, you're on your way to school, you're vibing, maybe you're playing COD right now, killing it. I see you posted up at the corner. Get the two-piece. Push up. All right, anyway. Let's end it. Kingdom, thank you as always for joining me.
Yeah.
It's always good talking COD
Peace
with you
out.
guys, and I'll see you guys next week.